Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that might seem simple at first glance, but holds many hidden meanings. You might not realize it, but a hug can be more than a friendly gesture. For women, it can be a subtle way to test a man's confidence, gauge his level of interest, or even create an opportunity for deeper connection. But here's the problem. Most men don't know how to respond in a way that builds attraction. They either pull away too quickly, hesitate awkwardly, or fail to recognize when a woman is signaling something more. So, in this video, we're going to break down the different types of hugs, what they mean, and most importantly, how to respond in a way that leaves a lasting impression. If you've ever wondered whether a woman's hug was just friendly or something more, or if you've ever missed a moment that could have led to something more profound, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll have the insight and confidence to handle these moments effortlessly. Watch until the end. If you find this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's get started. Type 1. Quick and decent hug, friendly hug. There is a hug that speaks louder than words, a brief and distant embrace that feels more like a polite formality than an expression of warmth. It lasts only a second or two, a quick moment before she steps back, maintaining just enough distance to clarify that there is no underlying intimacy. When she hugs this way, her torso stays apart from yours, her arms only briefly wrapping around, and sometimes there's a light pat on the back, an unspoken signal that the moment is over before it even begins. This kind of hug is shared among friends, acquaintances, and colleagues. It's the greeting exchanged at social gatherings, the farewell given without a second thought. There is no hesitation but no depth, lingering presence, or silent invitation for more. It is simply a gesture, a way of acknowledging someone without stepping beyond the boundaries of familiarity. When a woman offers you only this type of hug, it indicates that she sees you in a strictly platonic way. There is no underlying attraction, no hidden message waiting to be decoded. It is precisely what it appears to be, a friendly hug, nothing more. The mistake many men make is overanalyzing this interaction, searching for meaning where there is none. They wondered if the brevity of the hug was due to shyness or if the lack of closeness was a test. But the truth is much simpler. A woman who is drawn to you, who feels a spark of attraction, will find ways to close the physical gap rather than maintain it. She will linger. Her embrace will feel natural rather than obligatory, and there will be an unmistakable energy in how she holds on just a little longer. If all you receive is this quick, distant hug, the best response is to accept it for what it is. Don't misinterpret it as an invitation to pursue something more profound. Don't attempt to force closeness where it does not naturally exist. Instead, focus on the moments outside of these brief interactions. Attraction isn't built through a hug alone. It develops in the subtle ways you create connection, the playful tension in conversation, and the effortless comfort of shared space. If you wish to shift the dynamic, let it happen through meaningful exchanges, through confidence, through the quiet but undeniable presence of something more than just friendship. If she feels it, she won't need to say it. You will notice it in the way she looks at you, in the way she finds reasons to be close, in the way she lingers when she doesn't have to. But if all you ever get is the quick, distant hug, take it as a sign. Some doors remain closed, not because they are locked, but because they were never meant to be opened in the first place. Type 2. Short but firm hug. The hug may seem like a simple gesture, but within its brief moment of contact lies an unspoken language. When a woman embraces you with a short yet firm hug, she communicates something beyond mere politeness. Unlike the fleeting, barely there touch of a casual greeting, this type of hug lingers just a second longer, carries more weight in her arms, and feels deliberate rather than obligatory. There is a noticeable pressure, a subtle but distinct sign that she is comfortable in your presence. Her body doesn't tense up, and her movements remain relaxed, suggesting that she is at ease with this level of closeness. However, comfort does not always equate to deep attraction. It is a middle ground where familiarity exists but has yet to evolve into something more definite. The nature of this embrace lies in the in-between. It is not the tight, prolonged hug of someone who is emotionally invested, nor is it the distant, impersonal touch of a purely platonic interaction. It holds potential but lacks certainty. It suggests that she feels good around you, enjoys your presence, and trusts you enough to break the barrier of personal space. But whether that trust is the foundation of friendship or the beginnings of something more is yet to be determined. This is where perception and response become crucial. If you want to understand what this hug truly means, the key is the following moment. Rather than overanalyzing the action, focus on how she reacts when you subtly extend it. Holding the embrace just 1 second longer than expected is a way to test the dynamic between you. These are silent affirmations if she remains present at the moment, lingers slightly, or smiles or maintains eye contact afterward. They indicate that she is receptive to the connection, that the boundary between friendly comfort and romantic curiosity is softening. On the other hand, if she quickly withdraws and takes a step back without re-engaging, it is a clear sign that her perception of you remains firmly in friendship. Understanding these nuances is essential because attraction is rarely built on grand gestures alone. It often thrives in these small, seemingly insignificant moments where body language speaks louder than words. A short but firm hug is not a declaration, but a whisper of possibility. And in the human connection world, these whispers often pave the way for something more profound. Type 3. Long and warm hug. Deep emotional connection. A hug can be a simple greeting or comfort, but when a woman lingers in an embrace, letting the moment beyond the usual second or two, it speaks a language of its own. A long and warm hug isn't just about physical closeness. It's a window into her emotions, a silent expression of how she feels about you. It lasts longer than expected, her body relaxed against yours, her hands lightly resting on your back, as if she wasn't ready to let go. The warmth in her touch, her breathing slows, the almost imperceptible hesitation before she finally releases. These details tell a deeper story than words ever could. A hug like this is never random. It's a deliberate act, an unspoken test of emotional connection and physical comfort. When a woman holds onto you this way, she communicates something beyond friendliness. She is vulnerable in your presence, showing trust and closeness beyond casual affection, the pressure of her body against yours. The way she melts into the embrace rather than simply going through the motion. The slight way her fingers tighten for a second before she finally pulls away. All of these are subtle cues that she is comfortable with you, that there is an unspoken pull drawing her closer. This type of hug is so significant because it often acts as a bridge between emotional intimacy and something more profound. A woman may not always be ready to verbalize how she feels, but she will show it through her body language, through the way she interacts with you physically. If she holds on a little longer than expected and seems to savor the moment rather than rushing through it, it's an invitation that she feels safe in your presence and is open to something more. How you respond in that moment is as important as the hug itself. Pulling away too quickly can create an unintended sense of rejection, while holding on too forcefully can make the moment feel awkward or forced. The best response is to match her energy. Stay present in the embrace, rest your hand lightly on her back or waist, and let the hug end naturally on her terms. If she leans in and doesn't step away right away, if her body remains close even after the hug is technically over, these signals that she is testing the waters of attraction and waiting to see how you will react. Some men underestimate the power of a hug, dismissing it as just another form of friendly interaction. But in reality, how a woman hugs you, especially if it's longer, warmer, and more intimate than usual, is one of the most evident signs of a growing emotional connection. It's an instinctive act, a moment where words become unnecessary because the message is already apparent in how she holds on to you. A woman may say 1,000 things, but how she embraces you in a quiet moment often reveals more than any conversation ever could. Type 4. Intimate hugger, strongest romantic signal. There are moments in human connection that transcend words. A look, a pause, the way two people exist in the same space without the need for conversation. These unspoken interactions often reveal more than any spoken confession. One of the strongest signals of emotional intimacy is how a woman embraces a man, not as a casual greeting or a social obligation, but in a way that lingers and speaks of something more profound, unspoken yet undeniable. When she rests her head against your shoulder, or buries it in the curve of your neck, it is more than a physical act. It is a gesture of trust, a moment of vulnerability where she allows herself to be held and close without resistance. You may notice that her breathing changes, slowing, as if she is settling into the moment, as if she doesn't want it to end too soon. Her hands may trail gently along your back, tracing small patterns absent-mindedly, or she may whisper something so softly that it is meant more for the feeling of closeness than for actual words. And then there is the pause, the hesitation before she lets go. It is fleeting yet unmistakable. She would step away quickly, almost mechanically, if she wanted the hug to be nothing more than a polite gesture. But if she lingers, if there is even a fraction of a second where she hesitates, reluctant to create distance, it is because she wants to stay in that moment just a little longer. This pause is significant. It is where unspoken desires reside. Emotions surface without being named, and she allows herself to be close without needing an explanation. When this happens, it is not accidental. This kind of embrace is not casual, nor is it something she gives to just anyone. It indicates that she feels something beyond mere friendship that makes her seek comfort in your presence. She feels safe with you, protected in a way that goes beyond physical security. It is an emotional connection, a silent acknowledgement that, in that moment, she does not want to be anywhere else. For some women, this is an indirect way of testing the waters, seeing how you respond to her nearness, and creating an opportunity for something more without saying it outright. How you respond in that moment matters. If she lingers, if the energy between you feels charged with something unspoken, it is often an invitation to let the moment evolve naturally. Meeting her gaze as she steps back, holding it just a second longer than usual, is often enough to confirm what is already there. If she maintains eye contact and doesn't immediately create distance, the space between what is and what could be becomes almost imperceptible. But if you are unsure or do not want to misinterpret the moment, the best response is to remain calm and let her reaction guide the next step. If she steps away but then looks back and smiles in a way that suggests she is still in that moment, even as she moves away, it is a sign that something has shifted. Connection is often built in these subtleties, in the moments where words are unnecessary, where two people understand each other, not through direct statements, but through the silent language of presence, touch, and unspoken emotion. How to properly respond to an attraction-based hug. A hug is never just a hug when attraction is involved. It carries unspoken messages, hidden signals that reveal more than words ever could. The way she lingers, the slight increase in pressure, the warmth that stays even after you part, speaks to something more profound, and how you respond in that moment can either amplify the connection or diminish it entirely. Confidence separates a man who understands these subtleties from one who fumbles through them, unsure of what happened. When she wraps her arms around you, resist the impulse to pull away too quickly. A man who immediately disengages, stiffens, or acts uneasy signals nervousness, which disrupts the natural flow of attraction. Instead, relax into the hug, holding it long enough to acknowledge the moment without making it uncomfortable. It's not about prolonging it unnaturally, but about being present, allowing the interaction to unfold without rushing. If she holds on a little longer than necessary, if she presses into you just slightly, if her touch feels softer than a mere friendly gesture, she is testing the waters, inviting you to respond in kind. Not all hugs are created equal. Some are brief and casual, the kind exchanged between acquaintances with no real meaning behind them. Others hold weight, carrying an energy that lingers long after physical contact ends. The difference often lies in the timing and how she initiates or reacts. If she embraces you and there is a noticeable pause before she lets go, she's extending an invitation for something more. Whether it's deeper emotional intimacy or unspoken attraction, pay attention to the subtleties. How her hands rest on your back, her grip changes, and her position in the moment. If she leans into you even after the embrace ends, it shows she enjoys being close to you. The key to responding is to remain fluid and natural. A gentle touch on her back or waist can subtly increase intimacy without overstepping boundaries. If her hug carries warmth and lingers longer than expected, it's not about making a sudden move, but about reinforcing the connection effortlessly. If she responds positively, leaning in further or maintaining closeness, she's signaling that she enjoys your presence, that she's comfortable with this level of interaction, and that she might even want more. What happens immediately after the hug is as vital as the hug itself. Her body language will tell you everything you need to know. She likely felt something at that moment. If she smiled softly, maintained eye contact, or stayed within your space instead of stepping away. If she shifts her gaze, creates distance, or immediately redirects the conversation as if nothing happened, she may not be ready for more profound closeness just yet. In these small, often overlooked moments, attraction either builds or dissipates. Many men fail to recognize when an embrace is more than a polite gesture. They dismiss it as nothing, or worse, react with hesitation, losing the momentum entirely. But a man who understands subtlety, language, and can read the quiet signals she gives knows that attraction isn't always about grand gestures or explicit words. Sometimes it's as simple as the way she holds on just a second longer, the way she unconsciously draws herself closer, the way she looks at you afterward with a softness that wasn't there before. The difference lies in whether you recognize it or let the moment slip away. How to maximize attraction through hugs. Attraction isn't always about words. Sometimes the most potent signals are exchanged in silence, in the unspoken language of touch, proximity, and subtle gestures. A hug, when executed with awareness and confidence, can communicate more than 1,000 conversations ever could. It is a moment of physical closeness where emotions surface, boundaries dissolve, and unacknowledged feelings find their way into the open. A woman's embrace carries meaning. A brief, casual hug with minimal contact is polite, neutral, and impersonal. But when she lingers, she presses her body against yours just a little more firmly, and when she doesn't immediately pull away, she tests the waters. It is in these moments that attraction becomes palpable. She is inviting something more if she holds on just a second longer than necessary, subtly relaxes into you, and maintains closeness even after releasing the embrace. And how you respond at that moment can intensify the connection or let it slip away unnoticed. Confidence is everything. If you hesitate, rush to break the hug, and react nervously or awkwardly, the moment loses energy. Women are acutely aware of emotional states, and a lack of composure signals uncertainty, which is the opposite of attraction. Instead, hold the hug slightly longer than expected, not long enough to be forced, but sufficient to create an unspoken acknowledgement of the moment. A gentle hand on her lower back, a slow release that maintains eye contact for just a heartbeat longer. These subtle cues shift the interaction from casual to intimate. But what happens after the hug is just as revealing. Watch her reaction. If she lingers in your space, playfully touches your arm, adjusts her hair while looking at you, and continues the conversation with a softer tone, these are undeniable signals. She is not just comfortable with your presence, she is drawn to it. On the other hand, if she immediately steps back, avoids further touch, or changes the subject abruptly, she signals that the moment was purely friendly and nothing more. Most men underestimate the power of these interactions. They assume attraction is built through words, direct approaches, and grand gestures. But often, the smallest, most fleeting moments create the most profound impressions. A well-timed hug is not just a greeting or a farewell. It is an opportunity, a silent conversation, an unspoken test. And those who understand this, who know how to read and respond to these subtle cues, will always find themselves a step ahead in the intricate dance of attraction. A hug may seem like a simple gesture, but it holds a wealth of unspoken meaning. How you respond can subtly shift the dynamic between you and a woman, turning a brief moment of physical connection into a spark of attraction. Confidence, awareness, and the ability to read her signals set a man apart. Whether it's a quick, friendly hug or a deep, lingering embrace, understanding her intent and responding with calm certainty can make all the difference. Remember, different types of hugs reveal various levels of attraction. A quick and distant hug signals neutrality, while a firm hug shows comfort but not necessarily desire. A long and warm hug hints at emotional closeness, and an intimate hug is one of the strongest attraction indicators. Your response matters. Holding the hug slightly longer, maintaining eye contact, and using a subtle, natural touch can amplify connection and deepen attraction. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment when a hug meant more than just a simple greeting? How did you respond? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content on attraction, relationships, and the psychology behind human connection. See you in the next one.